Welcome back to Petes Dugout. This is episode number 11 of my FIFA 23 career mode with Coventry City, and we are just 3 games away from the January transfer window, and I have very mixed feelings. So as we look ahead to the rest of December, we have 3 games in the space of a week, so I'll have to be careful managing minutes. And a reminder, of course, that we gave up top spot in the table following the loss to Watford last time out. So the reason I've got mixed feelings is something I've already alluded to once or twice. I'm really concerned about some of the potential bids for Gyökeres, considering he's scored over 30 goals already this season. And that will be tough to replace, but I'm also excited to see what happens. I don't want to lose anybody really, but we may have a huge opportunity to improve the squad. And we also have the scout coming back with fresh prospects as well, so I'm really looking forward to that side of things. But before we get there, we have to get through these next 3 games and bounce back from our stuttering form last time out. First up, we have Preston North End at Deepdale on Christmas Day. A lovely bit of realism there from EA. Sorry lads, family time can wait. We've got a 3 o'clock kickoff 100 miles up the M6. But as I said, I know we can't win every game, but we have reverted back to old habits with conceding, and that needs to be nipped in the bud. The good news is that Panzo and Tavsan were back to full fitness, with Hamer and Godden still out long term, of course. You will also remember that Walton got his first professional goal last game in the loss to the Hornets, and that is really encouraging stuff from the youngster. So as we pick things up at half time, Coventry head in for the team talk, winning 2-0 after a well-worked goal for Tavsan and a rocket from Sheaf from just outside the box. I actually tried those shots with Sheaf a lot because he finds himself in those areas quite often during games, but they always seem to go miles wide. He hasn't got the best shooting stats to be fair, but this one was pinpoint and the keeper had no chance. But the start of the second half was a bit worrying as another one of my midfielders goes down injured, with Eccles falling awkwardly from the strong challenge. So Eccles and Tavsan make way for Allen and Ganelli, and Preston finally made their first attack of the game really 56 minutes in as Evans takes aim from outside the box, but it's a comfortable height for Ronning to make the saves and he pushes it away from danger. We'd held them to virtually nothing so far, which was a great boost for us defensively. And just after the hour mark, we still looked comfortable on the ball. We looked to put the game completely out of reach with Sheaf trying another long-range effort, and this one did have Woodman worried as it fizzes just wide. I think we might have ourselves a new long-range specialist. But even so, I made 2 more subs with 20 minutes to go as Dabo and Walton replaced Blackman and Gyökeres. The youngster looking to continue his impressive form after his first goal against Watford last time out, but Preston did get themselves a lifeline in the game with 15 minutes to play. It was a really sloppy goal to concede from the corner, which was really disappointing, and Ronning should have done better as the ball trickles in to make it 2-1. So even though I was disappointed to lose the clean sheet, I felt really confident we would get the job done in this one. And we stayed on the front foot with Allen feeding Walton, who connects well with the shot, but Woodman gets down to save. I've got to be honest, I'm really impressed with the young striker so far. He's quick on the break, gets himself into really good positions, times his runs well, and he has a decent finish on him as well. And case in point, he receives the ball from Dabo and immediately releases Ganelli in the box, and he smashes it far post past the keeper to make it 3-1, and that is definitely game over. Credit to the youngster for the first time pass, and we've got a talented lad on our hands there. So 3-1 is the final score, and as we head home we find out that Eccles' injury is another bruise, and I just wanted to touch on that quickly. My players again going down with a lot of bruises, as you'll know, and that's something I'm completely fine with. Knocks, bumps, bruises and twists all happen in games, and especially when you're playing 40 or 50 games a season, that is realistic. So I'm really happy that I'm having to tinker with my squad from game to game. As strange as that may sound, it's a bittersweet problem to have. But next up, we're back at home against Norwich, who are surprisingly in 13th place at the moment, despite having the firepower of Sargent, Pookie and Todd Cantwell. But still, I knew this one wouldn't be easy, and I really wanted a quick start in the game to settle the nerves, and boy did the lads deliver on that one. Tavsan flies down the wing and powers into the Norwich box before cutting back to Gyökeres, and you know the rest. One thing I am happy with is that everyone at the moment is in decent form. Yes, we have injuries, but everyone knows their role and nobody's playing badly, which is a blessing when you're pushing for promotion. And we were getting everything we wanted down the right wing in the first half, and 25 minutes in, it's Blackman this time who's released for a run. He cruises past the defence easily, and no, you're not watching the first goal again. The cutback option is there, and Gyökeres finishes to make it 2-0, and Norwich clearly didn't learn their lesson defensively. So it's a brilliant start to the first half, and we weren't done just yet. Blackman is involved once again down the right as he and Allen play a 1-2. Blackman takes a good first touch to open himself up for the shot, but Gunn does well to keep this one out. I think they were all expecting another cutback. But Norwich did wake up straight after that chance with the front 3 of Cantwell, Pookie and Sargent, with the latter trying to finish off the move, but he drags the shot just wide. But just before half-time, we tried to work the ball down the left for a change. Kim and Bidwell were looking a little bored over on that side of the pitch, so we gave them a touch. Norwich tried to clear the ball initially, but it's worked back to Palmer. They're slow to close him down, so he pulls the trigger, and it's a beautiful goal to finish the half. Palmer curls the ball top corner to make it 3-0, and I had to include this stunning angle for the replay. My goodness. So it's a perfect half of football, to be honest with you, and with the game coming up against Bristol in a couple days, I put Gyökeres on ice for Walton, and the youngster Howley gets a game coming on for Sheaf. The second half didn't have as much intensity, which is understandable really, and it's Norwich who had the first attack just past the 50-minute mark. Cantwell goes on a run down the right, feeds it back to Sargent, and he buries it far post to make it 3-1 and give the Canaries the faintest of hopes. But just past the hour mark, I knew we needed to stop the Norwich momentum. They might be 13th right now in the table, but they have a solid team, and given the chance, they could definitely get back into the game. So back to 1-2 touch passing, and Tavsan finds Walton, who accelerates past the back line. He looks up, and someone tell me how this lad doesn't have a potential tag. The youngster carries the ball for almost 30 yards and finishes with so much composure. That's his second goal of his career already, and what a story. 4-1, and surely now that's game over. So with the game all but wrapped up, I made 3 more changes, with Rose, Ganelli and Dabo coming on for Edwards, Tavsan and Blackman, and we had a chance to make it 5-1 with just over 10 minutes to go, as once again we attacked down the right with Allen. He feeds Palmer, puts it on a plate for Walton, and the academy grad is denied his first brace by the post. That definitely deserved a goal, and I was gutted for him, but that's a sign of things to come for sure. We did take our foot off the gas with 5 minutes to go, and I couldn't blame the lads. We played with such high intensity all game, and Norwich did get themselves a second after Pukki is played through. He doesn't have the pace, but he squares to Sara, who places a first-time effort past post to make it 4-2. A good finish to be fair, but it's too little too late as we take all 3 points to make it 2 games in a row, and as we wait for the other results to come through, Watford were only able to claim a point in their game, so we are back on top where we belong. But it's only on goal difference at the moment, so it's time to build on this momentum and open up that gap again. So, New Year's Eve, back on the road to Bristol where we would face the Robins. Last game before the transfer window opens, and I felt a little bit nervous. In one breath, I want to make it 3 wins in a row, but I also want to hide Gyökeres for the month. But I had to try and put all that behind me for 90 minutes at least, as we had a job to do. O'Hare comes back in at the 10 spot in a otherwise unchanged team as we look to make it 3 on the trot. And how fitting would it be to end the year with some fireworks on New Year's Eve, eh? If you can remember all the way back to episode 4, the reverse fixture at home was a 5-1 Coventry win, and I'd love to get a similar performance today as we almost take an early lead through Kim, but Bentley's kick out from the back is poor. Gyökeres receives the ball back, smartly dinks the ball over to Kim, who watches it all the way and hits a first time volley to punish the Bristol shot stopper for his poor distribution. Another great start and another early goal for the Sky Blues. A few minutes later, we look to bury the game in the first half as O'Hare finds Allen. Nobody picks him up, so he takes a shot and it bounces off the post with Bentley well beaten, and Bristol are able to clear. And from the very same attack, Bristol look to counter as we try to get back defensively. Semenyo holds the ball up well and plays in Wilson down the right. He gets the better of Bidwell with a great first touch and swerves a right-footed effort to make it 1-1. That wasn't in the script at all, as our good start is halted by a Bristol City counter. The game did slow down a few notches after the Bristol goal, but we looked to inject a bit of pace just before the 40-minute mark with our favoured right-hand side. O'Hare swings the ball in for Gyökeres, and he gets up easily to power a header past the outstretched arms of the keeper, and we retake the lead. Where, oh where would I be without the big Swede? Definitely not top of the table. But just before the half-time break, we had the bit between our teeth, and we looked to get a third as Bidwell feeds to Gyökeres, hits it first time, and it squirms past the post with the defender doing just enough to put him off. So it's 2-1 at the break, and the second half started really slowly. We reached the 65-minute mark with not much action to speak of, so I made a rare 4-man sub with Eccles, Pepega, Dabo and Rose coming on for Allen, Kim, Bidwell and Panzo. And suddenly the game came to life as the substitute Eccles tries his luck from range, and it's saved well by Bentley. But Bristol got back up near their end though and started an attack of their own. Weimann gets a little bit lucky as he tries to hold up play this time, and he surprises everyone with a shot from range that cannons off the inside of the post, and James just can't stretch enough to send the ball home with the goal wide open. So a sigh of relief as we get the ball clear, and from the very same phase of play we get the ball forward with O'Hare, who goes on a powerful run through the middle. He looks up and spots a gap through to Gyökeres, who shapes his body perfectly for the first time shot to bend it round the keeper, and it's 3-1. We go from almost conceding an equaliser to surely putting the game out of reach for the Robins, and it was just as well that we did, as Tavsan tries to dribble out from the back and he gets caught in possession. Weimann plays in Semenyo on the overlap and he smashes it home near post, and Ronin has no chance. It's 3-2, and that third goal from Gyökeres would prove so important, as Bristol City ran out of time and we limp away with all 3 points. So not really the finish we wanted, but we get the job done, and the lads can enjoy their New Year's celebrations. And that would mean that it was time for January. Yes, the window was open, and just a little bit of admin first as Man City call back the young defender Doyle, which wasn't a surprise. He didn't really get a look in, so he will be better off going elsewhere for some first team football. But next up, we have Theo back with his scouting update, and I couldn't wait to show you this. We scroll down to the bottom, and I think we might have another gem on our hands with Jacob Thomas, 17 years old, 58 to 78 overall with 76 to 94 potential, and he goes straight into our youth academy with a value of 1.6 million. So as we take a look at his stats, we find that he has a starting rating of 64, which is solid, brilliant dribbling stats, and I think he may be better off as a cam rather than a box-to-box CM, simply due to his height of 5'5" and the fact that it will only take 2 weeks to retrain in that position. So let me know your thoughts on that one, but he'll definitely get some game time in our squad and hopefully link up with his countryman Walton. But as we simulate through a couple of days, the inevitable happens, and we receive our first bid from a Premier League team. Leeds United have bid 7.5 million for Callum O'Hare. Oh, I'm so conflicted. Callum is from the Villa Academy, so there's no ties to Leeds there, and they are currently struggling in a relegation battle in the league table, but it is quite realistic. I'd love to know your thoughts, but one thing is for sure, 7.5 million is not enough, and if I do decide to sell, they will definitely need to make an improved bid. But that's going to do it for another episode of FIFA 23 Career Mode on Petes Dugout. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. If you did like it, then please do drop a like and consider subscribing. I'm still working on that outro, but I'll be back with another episode featuring more transfer drama very soon.